us, you can get so used to fear that you camp out with it. You have a tea party, pour the hot water with fear. You go out to St. Arbuck's and you're agreeing with fear. This really came to me this past summer. I had spent some time with my mom in Washington. Just great, spending time, enjoying things, not doing the normal routine. And I was really leaning in because I wanted to use this time away in Washington State, Wenatchee, Christian is where I was, to just kind of listen and lean into what maybe the Holy Spirit might say to me. And I remember the whole 2 weeks, it was quiet. I didn't hear anything. And then, I'm on my way home, and we had to stop by a friend of my mom. She's actually a really good friend of mine. And she's like a Titus 2, the older instruct the wise. She's been that way for me for quite a few years. So as I was leaving to the airport, she hugged me and she whispered the first word that was a key word. She said, "Teresa, there's joy in the wine." So I'm like, okay, there's a drop. I had to wait till 2 weeks and staying in Washington State, but there's a drop of this. There's joy in the wine. So, because I'd been talking about the house of wine as the key to redeem your voice, so I knew there was words for me to process. Then I got on the plane, got all nestled in. Am I going to listen to a podcast? I'm going to read a book, and then I got it. God said to me, the loud, like I was hoping for those past 2 weeks, he said as loud as clear, "Teresa, you need to get in agreement with heaven." And I knew that the second part of that was I needed to get in agreement with my husband in every aspect, from my business with the Redeem Your Voice to everything. And it was like, okay, I hear you, Lord. So that getting in agreement, I had this thought. I was praying for one of our upper level mentors, and this is what God was dropping into me to share with him. But I'm like, goodness, I needed to hear this. He said, "Teresa, sometimes you can be in so much in agreement with fear or anxiety that you just, hey, in one way, you step up to the bar in the same old dusty seat and you stay at the bar and have a drink. Or in other ways, if you like tea, you have tea with the fear. You are in agreement with it, so you pour the hot water and you're used to it. I like St. Arbuck's. You go out to St. Arbuck's, you order a coffee, you're having agreement with fear. You're having time with fear. And I was like, whoa. So it's funny, before even the consult call, I started to think, okay, I'm going to cancel that agreement. And I would verbally, mutter around the house, I cancel that agreement with anxiety. I am going to cancel that agreement with what's bothering me or what I feel I'm being stuck. And it's really interesting because when I was in the process of just processing this, I felt like God saying that sometimes it's so easy to make partnership with what you're comfortable with, like anxiety. You might be comfortable with it because you've been struggling with it. It's just like you have to break covenant with that. You have to break time with that. And I realized that what the bottom line of what this is breaking your agreement, breaking your covenant, is breaking the lie of the enemy that you got to get to the root. What is the root of this? I am believing a lie that I'll never be married. I'll never have kids. I'll never have enough. I'll never be able to start my business. I'll never have union with my wife. You have to break the covenant that's in your mind to that by renewing your mind. Yes, renewing your mind. But it's not just a matter of renouncing it. It's like you get to the root. What do? The root, you dig it up. That might be digging up, might be in the Word. It might be in your very declarations. I mean, I've got piles of declarations. I'm going to get to the root of this. It's a lie. And oftentimes the number one lie that the enemy brings to us, that we start making covenant with, we start agreeing with, is that the number one lie is God's holding out in you. So I got to get it myself. You have to change your actions. And oftentimes it starts with changing your mind and your actions follow. Form a healthy identity which brings different activity. So you got to go back to the basis of, okay, who am I? I am his much loved daughter. He's not going to hold out on me. So I'm going to break that covenant of a poverty spirit. You are no more going to have coffee and tea with me. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of I love the analogy of that. I actually got that analogy for something else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what you do. You you camp out, you go outside, put the tablecloth down, and you have a picnic with fear, with anxiety. You just think, well, it's just it's just my makeup. It's just the way I am. No. As you believe who you are, as you believe in that identity shift, when the identity is totally found in this, can I get 3 little steps? I'm teaching step number 2 in our Redeem Your Voice camp tonight. To step number 1, it's a repair, restore, and rebuild process found in Amos 9 verse 11. They're saying, I'm going to repair the broken down walls of David. You need to repair the broken walls of, it might be just a repair in your relationship with God. I'm going to restore. Restore is mentioned twice in Amos 9 verse 11. The first restoration is, where do I need to forgive? Who am I holding offense against? Or, better yet, have I forgiven myself? Real simple. How about this? How about we just give you, it's 7 keys to find your voice, just to get started. I would love to see you just to get started. RedeemYourVoice.com. And if you really want to sit down and talk about like 5 more keys, it's like there's this foundation, there's this place of breakthrough that involves breaking off the lies. Then Redeem Your Voice will lead to an opportunity for me to ask you some questions. Nothing you need to prepare. It's just called an identity blueprint call. So anyway, I'm really excited that you would take time to hang out with me. It's always my honor. And thank you for, you know what it is? It's like it's process. It's like change my actions. I mean, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you, boyfriend, girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So let's start today. When something negative, let's think about it. Wait a minute, am I making an agreement? Am I having coffee with that thought? Or am I going to cancel it? I'm going to, no, I'm not in covenant with that lie. I'm in covenant with a living God who knows me. That I'm coming not towards victory, I'm coming from victory because of the finished work of the cross. I'm coming from victory to what I need. I'm coming from heaven to what I need. To what I need to, for my family, for my job, for my business, for my identity. It's beautiful. I love it. Well, I'll end by this. Dave told me this about 3 years ago, and it's wrecked me for the good. He said, we are spirit beings having a human experience. Spirit beings, we're bilocational. We have a spirit, we have a body and a soul, but we're living from the spirit. We are a new creation. We get to tap on the Spirit of the living God inside of us to remind us who we are, which shifts our identity, restore, rebuild, restore, repair, and then we get to rebuild. We get to rebuild on our identity, which affects everything around you. I just got one email, just for a quick example of this, of a member in our group, and she has learned the restore, rebuild, and repair process, and she's seeing results with her parents. Parents didn't agree with her on something. That's another story. And she's starting to love, she's starting to speak to their identity, she's starting to walk in her own identity right where she is. And it's like, boom, all of a sudden her family, her mom's like, instead of being critical, she's noticing. Her father starting to talk to her a little more. It's like the restore is affecting every area of her life, especially in her family. And then she goes out to coffee with her friend and she starts speaking identity truths. We have this saying, grit, generals releasing identity truths, generals being messengers. And she's like, it happens. I just show up and have coffee, walking in my identity, understanding who I am. Boom, it affects her. Boom, she starts asking me questions. Boom, this is exciting. So, will you do something for me today? Will you stop having tea and coffee with that agreement? Stop it. Say, no more. Hey, I'm going to have my coffee with Jesus, not with you. I like to start my morning with coffee with Jesus. It's one way to keep that agreement. But if you got to go throughout the day, if you may not cancel this assignment, then go to the root. What lie am I believing right now? I mean, this is like, it's not something you do in your quiet time. This is something you do throughout the day. I guarantee you something will happen, because this is the final thing. It shifts something in the atmosphere. So I started making a cancellation on some things, and I saw a shift in the atmosphere. I did see results, but the shift in the atmosphere released more creativity, released favor, release stewardship of my time, understanding my time. It released all these kingdom principles because I stopped making a covenant. I stopped making an agreement. I had no more partnership for that which was holding me back, which was usually fear, anxiety, procrastination, anything under the fruit of fear model. There's so much under fear. All right. Thank you for sharing. I got a meeting in about 10 minutes I'm really excited about. I hope maybe I get to share it with you about it more. And I'll talk to you in the next video. And you know it. I really do love you.